I am Dr. Aruna Mohan from Delhi University, and today I will be discussing chapter 14 of class 11th biology entitled Respiration in Plants. You are quite aware of the word respiration, but when it comes to plants, it becomes necessary to touch upon photosynthesis also when we talk about respiration. Of course, respiration is the process which gives us energy, and we have to understand how that is happening in the body of the plant, and also to know this we will touch upon how it is happening in our body. We know generally that in respiration oxygen is taken in and carbon dioxide is given out. We know that in plants there is an important process, photosynthesis, where carbon dioxide is taken in and oxygen is given out, and that is photosynthesis. So, there is a very good cycle existing on earth. We take oxygen, give out carbon dioxide, and this carbon dioxide is taken up by the plants for the process of photosynthesis and comes out oxygen, which is available to us again, and this is a small cycle of oxygen and carbon dioxide, which is so very important for our existence. But that does not mean that plants will not respire. Photosynthesis is the process to make food. To synthesize food, the plants are synthesizing their own food, but they are respiring also. And when it comes to respiration, the plants also take oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. That means, for one process plants take carbon dioxide, give out oxygen, and for respiration they take oxygen and give out carbon dioxide. Now, how respiration is going on along with the photosynthesis, or how these two processes are going on together in the plant body, that is what we are going to understand today. Energy need is the first very important thing for plant body or for animal body or for you and me. So, how do we get energy? We get this energy by breakdown of glucose, and of course, children, you know that we get glucose through food. Of course, plants are synthesizing their own food by photosynthesis, hence they have starch, carbohydrates, etc. as stored food, and we are eating either plants or animals, means either herbivorous or carnivorous or omnivorous we are, and we are getting energy through that food. Now, whatever energy we have to break it down so that we are able to produce chemical energy. Suppose we have eaten food, it is converted to glucose, this glucose comes to blood, through blood it goes to cell. Now, what next? The next is, through respiration we are taking oxygen, and that oxygen is burning this glucose to give out energy in the form of ATP. Now, when I speak the word ATP, it is important for me to emphasize on the fact that the energy is not produced suddenly, it is not utilized suddenly. If that was happening, it would have been a very difficult task for we, the animals and the plants. How? Suppose we take food and energy is produced and is exhausted. Now, we are left with no energy. That is not happening. We eat food, it is converted to glucose, it burns in the presence of oxygen we took through respiration, and now this energy is not suddenly produced. It is produced in the form of chemical energy called ATP, and from ATP it will be released gradually, slowly, as per requirement of your body. So that ATP remains as chemical energy there, from which we are getting the energy, day to day energy, minute to minute energy, and that is the reason we call ATP as energy currency of the body. Coming back to food, now we have understood how food is synthesized in plants or how we get food in our body. Now, starting with food, we have to go for oxidation, and this oxidation naturally will take place in the presence of oxygen. Now, breaking of CC bonds, that is carbon-carbon bonds of carbohydrates, into smaller compounds with the production of energy is called respiration, and that is what we are going to discuss today. We know that green plants and cyanobacteria prepare their own food by photosynthesis. You can see some cyanobacteria in the slide. We proceed forward with photosynthesis. Why I am touching part of photosynthesis here? To make you understand from where we got the substrate for oxidation. What do I mean by substrate? Oxygen is going to act on some carbohydrate molecule, and that is called substrate, which we are or plants are providing in the form of carbohydrates. Of course, in animal body normally the substrate is carbohydrate, whereas in plant body it can be carbohydrate, it can be protein, it can be fat. In photosynthesis, the light energy is converted into chemical energy. We know that for photosynthesis we need carbon dioxide, we need water, and we of course need sunlight. Only in the presence of sunlight photosynthesis will take place. But only these three things are not enough. There should be some mechanism to use these three items for the process of photosynthesis, and that is our chloroplast, the chloroplast in the cell of the leaves. And in the chloroplast you have chlorophyll. In the given diagram on the slide, you can see in this chloroplast there is inner membrane, there is outer membrane, and there is of course between the two membranes the space we call intermembrane space. The main body is thylakoid, in which you find grana, which are stacked one on the other, and inside there is a lumen. So, this is the basic structure of chloroplast in which chlorophyll is sitting or is located. Now, this chlorophyll will help, it is a green pigment which will help the utilization of carbon dioxide and water in the presence of sunlight for the process of photosynthesis. Now, once the photosynthesis takes place, the food is prepared, and that food is stored in the plant in different parts, and definitely it is there in the green leaf where it was synthesized. Now, when we talk of food in terms of consuming food, again we have categories. Of course, plants are producers, they produce food, hence very important for us, and children, this is the reason you must understand the value of plants around us. If plants were not there, we could neither get food nor oxygen. How? Plants are producers, so they are autotrophs. They are having food prepared by themselves, they are not having food prepared by others normally. Then there are herbivores who will eat plants. In our terms, we can say vegetarians. Then there will be carnivores who will eat herbivores, and of course, there will be saprophytes who will eat dead decaying organic matter like fungi or fungus. You can see mushroom, picture of mushroom on the slide. Now, all the food which is utilized by different levels, whether herbivore, carnivore, saprophyte, this all came eventually through photosynthesis. I am sure children you can appreciate the fact that if I am vegetarian, I am eating plants, the food was prepared by plants. Suppose I am non-vegetarian and I am eating say chicken, then this chicken has eaten some plant product and now I have eaten the chicken. So, eventually I am again depending on plants. So, plant is the category, the photosynthesis is the category on which we all are highly dependent for food and for oxygen. Since our point of discussion is respiration today, so bringing this point in was only reason that how to tell you that what we are burning in respiration or what we are using as substrate in respiration. So, for the process of respiration, we are using food as a substrate, whether it is food produced by plant in the plant body or whether it is food in our body because we have eaten plants or the animals which ate plants. Now, we shall discuss the cellular respiration or breakdown of food, where it takes place. Children, you are knowing the structure of a cell. It has nucleus and cell organelles, and one of the important cell organelles is mitochondria. Mitochondria is also called powerhouse of the cell because ATP production is going to take place in mitochondria. You can see diagram of mitochondria on the slide. It has double membrane, outer membrane and the inner membrane, and through these membranes the process of oxidation of food and production of ATP will take place. Now, breakdown of food material is taking place in the cell, especially in mitochondria, and energy is released in the form of ATP, which is a chemical energy, and photosynthesis, as you know, took place in chloroplast, and energy yield in the cell, cytoplasm and in the mitochondria. These are the basic points in the production of energy. Now, double membrane mitochondria has outer membrane which has certain enzymes and inner membrane which has certain enzymes. Now, the total process, which is a very complex process, takes place here, and breakdown of glucose will take place in several steps, and finally glucose is converted to pyruvic acid, and in the process many molecules of ATPs are produced. Adenosine triphosphate is the full name for ATP. Now, this ATP remains in the cell and energy is given out as per the requirement of your body. Now, this ATP, when you use as energy, day to day energy, is converted to ADP, that is adenosine diphosphate, and it again goes back to the mitochondria, where when further oxidation through respiration is taking place, it will be converted to ATP again. So, ADP is converted to ATP by oxygen or oxidation, and ATP, when you use as energy, comes down as ADP and again goes back to be formed as ATP, and this cycle continues because we are providing or plant is providing oxygen. Now, coming to discuss the point how plant is getting the oxygen. Oxygen is must for plant respiration. So, one thing children, you must realize that photosynthesis is taking place only during daytime when sun is there. That means photosynthesis is not taking place in the night, but respiration in plant is a process which is taking place round the clock 24 hours. That means during day also, during night also. During day, when photosynthesis is going on, the plant is producing oxygen which can be partly utilized for respiration also. So, availability of oxygen is not a problem for plant because plant itself is producing oxygen. In the night, photosynthesis is not going on, hence plant is not producing oxygen, but it definitely needs oxygen for the respiration. So, it will take from surrounding. Of course, there is not a very big kind of respiratory system installed in the plant body like we have. So, how it is going on? It has stomata, it has lenticels. Those are small holes which help in exchange of gases, but those holes are not making the full system of respiration. So, it is assisted in plant by the very fact that they are dispersed on the outer surfaces of the plant body, like on leaves, like on outer part of the bark, like on outer membrane of the twigs, etc. So, they are on the outer side. Suppose it is a stem which is so big, thick, fat stem, then inner part is made up of dead cells and the live cells are making a membrane or a layer, a thin layer which is touching the air or environment directly. In other words, in the plant body which is so huge, the live cells are touching the environment directly, hence stomata and lenticels are enough to carry in air in and help in respiration. So, respiration is taking place in plants through these stomata in the leaves and lenticels on the stem, and they are giving out carbon dioxide, and that is why sometimes our elders say that in night do not go to parks or jungles or gardens. Why? Because plants are giving out only carbon dioxide and taking in oxygen, and they are not giving out oxygen, which they were doing during daytime. So, respiration in plant is as important as in any other living beings. With this, we come to the end of this episode. We will continue the details of glycolysis and details of respiration in the next episode. Thank you.